Solace, 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 solace.
Peace, wealth, and wisdom. All praises to the horizon. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. This evening I want to do this video explaining to you guys how to heal the self with the mind. I'm speaking of mental healing. And so I want to go a little more in depth for you guys than I do on the public channel. Give you a better understanding. Now, all the thoughts that we have, they produce substance. Substance is waters, any liquid, substance, oils, waters, substances. And so all the thoughts that we have, they produce substance in the brain. This is why the brain is all gooey like that. You can say thought is like air, but of course it's trapped in the vessel. And so these thoughts condense and turn into the waters of the brain, or the goo, because you have many different states of thoughts, meaning different emotion with different thoughts. And so it's manifesting out different kinds of waters within the body. When I say waters, I'm speaking like cerebral spinal fluid. This is clear waters. Tears, salty waters. Mucus, thick waters. This is what I mean. The waters of self. They're coming from the thoughts, which are like air. And so you can kind of look at it like the heavier or dirtier thought will manifest into the metallic bony spine. And the more lighter thought will manifest into the ghouls of the brain. Now I want you guys to grasp. When you have certain thoughts, let's say sad thoughts, sad emotion, do you not produce a substance that you call tears? And the waters of it is salty. And so I'm giving you that example so that you can grasp. All thought produces a substance, whether you release it or not. Meaning before you cry, so the waters is kind of flowing through self, getting salty, until it becomes an overflow and you cry. Same with semen, meaning when you guys ejaculate, it is the thought and the feeling that makes that substance produce. You get it? And so let's say you're looking at your woman, or if you're a woman, you're looking at your man. And so you're lusting. You have those loving, lustly, desiring feelings and the thoughts associated with it. And so in that moment, or in those moments, you are producing what we call semen. And so this is medicinal, of course. It has gold in it, many different elements. But I want you guys to grasp, if you do not release the ejaculation, so it's flowing through the body. But because of the thoughts. So on the public channel, I told many people, save up your semen. This is how you can heal yourself. You can use the semen to flow through your body, healing you. And so many people save their semen. They say, Solace, man, I saved my semen and I start having wet dreams. What's going on? And so I told everyone on a public channel, get a one-on-one so you can go more in depth. And so the point was that, meaning, if you're not having those lustly, loving, desiring thoughts, well, you're not producing any semen. And so they're going without sex. But it doesn't matter because they're not producing any semen. You get it? And so they're just going without sex, trying to avoid those thoughts, avoid those lusting. You get it? And so in that, they do nothing. It's about having a certain, I apologize, it's about having a certain discipline where you can kind of indulge into the lustly desiring thoughts without spilling out. Kind of like when you see monks in high places just meditating. They're kind of, having those lustly desiring thoughts, but they're not spilling it. They're kind of letting the semen flow through herself. Kind of like when a woman first meets a man, and so she's so excited and happy. This is before you have sex. Full of energy, loving, and she's just in good spirits. In that early stages of the relationship, so she's producing that substance, which is semen, but it's not being released out if she's not, going home and masturbating or engaging in sex. And so if she's just, lusting and kind of having those thoughts, when y'all first meet someone, before y'all kind of become a couple and y'all just kind of testing the waters. In that early stage of a relationship, so she may not realize it, but she's healing herself. This is why they're so upbeat, so happy. It's just like a man right before he's about to have sex. It doesn't matter what's happening. He's excited. He's in good spirits. And so it's not until he ejaculates when he's like, all right, get off. You get it? Kind of snapping back. And so mental healing is understanding that. All thought produces a substance. Now, you guys release your tears, your semen, your sweat, sometimes mucus when you're sick, but there's so many other substances that are, releasing when we have specific thought that you don't see. And so you can say semen is like all the substances from the positive sides, more upbeat, happy parts. Because, of course, the mind is dual. And so there is a science to this. I'm just giving you guys kind of the understanding. Meaning, specific thought, if it's focused, kind of like when you guys are lusting over sex and you have that good energy flowing, if you don't release it, so it flows. It keeps you in that positive state as well as medicinally healing you. And so it's a deep thing I want you guys to grasp. Now, the thoughts, as I said, they're like airs or gases. They manifest into the waters, which are the feelings, meaning your feelings is truly a matter of the state of the waters. You got clear waters, cerebrospinal fluid, come from clear thought. You got semen fluid, come from lusting thoughts. You get it? You have many different states of waters within the self, depending on the emotional state. And so the thoughts is like airs and gases, just like airs, which, gases. Hydrogen, oxygen, they come together, you get fluid, water. More heavy air or gas like carbon, so you get like lead and diamond. You don't get waters, you kind of just get metal. And so kind of look at it in that way. These airs or thoughts are kind of coming together to create feeling, which in turn is the waters of self. And so if you're feeling sad or having sad thoughts, making you feel sad, so it's the waters within self. They're salty. You're kind of turning the state of the waters within self to a more salty state. Therefore, your tears taste that way. And so you have to look at it like, in the science perspective, you have 4 lobes of the brain: frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital. Frontal in the front, occipital in the back. Now look at it like this. The thoughts that these four lobes are thinking are the thoughts flowing around in the mind, condensing into the waters of the brain, or the ghouls. Look at it like this. You have your waters all the way to your muds, negatives and positives. You get it? And so the frontal lobe, this is more associated with negative thought. And so I don't want you to look at it like the waters is positive and the mud is negative. But look at it like you have mucus. This is like mud of the body. You have semen. Two kinds of mucuses, but one being like negative, one like positive. Meaning the semen is positive. So it brings forth life. It's healing. It's medicinal. It's many things. Mucus, sickness. You get it? And so kind of like that. The thoughts, they kind of produce the waters. From the waters to the mucus of the body. Positive to negative. Meaning salty water, tears, it's clear and watery, but it's negative. You get it? Cerebrospinal fluid, this is just clear, pure thought, pure waters. It don't look that different than tears, but so you get it? Positive, negative thing. And now, those waters that are being produced, they will now settle into the bony metallic spine. Like I said, heavier thought, like carbon, thought being like airs or gases. So carbon, it kind of condenses and turns into your stones and metals. When I say stones, I mean like diamonds, rubies, your precious stones to your metals. And so it's kind of like waters to mud, stones to metals. Stones being like waters stuck in their state. You get it? Water stuck in its state is ice, which is basically quartz crystal. Just on the reverse end of the spectrum. Meaning you can melt quartz crystal into liquid. This is how you make glass. But it will harden back to quartz crystal. Ice looking. Now the same is with water. You can freeze it to make it look like quartz crystal. But it will go back to water. And so they're one and the same, just on the flip side of the spectrum. You know? Kind of like minus 32 degrees and 32 degrees. And so kind of grasp. I'm trying to give you guys an example. And so the waters to the muds, meaning the thoughts, you know, in the brain, is going to manifest into the waters. Those waters being, you know, clear waters all the way to mucusy or muddy. And so if the thought or the airs is heavier, like carbon, so it's going to settle into the metallic bony spine, meaning the cervical spine, C1 through C7 vertebrae, your coppers. Thoracic spine, your T1 through T12, your tens. Lumbar spine, L1 through L5, your leads. Of course, this is the lower brain, meaning the spine is a part of the brain, and so this is your lower brain. And so it's metallic. This is where your stones and your metals are. And the upper parts of what we call the brain, this is where your waters to mucuses are. All of these things stemming from thought. No different than on our physical existence we live in on this outer world. Airs or gases is how you get the different states of waters we have, as well as stones and metals. And so the same things that's happening on the outer world is happening on the inner world. It's the same coming from conscious, meaning air is conscious before it's condensing into waters. And of course, more heavier airs like carbon or more negative thought manifesting into your metals and your stones. In the body, this is your brain. The waters and ghouls of the brain, the different states of waters up there, kind of descending down into the body. The heavier thoughts up there kind of manifesting down into the bony spine. Of course, it has the metals as I explained. Lumbar spine, L1 through L5, your leads. Your sacrum, S1 through S5, the fused bones. The fused bones, your silvers. Beneath that, you have your djed, as the ancient Egyptians called it, or the coccyx, as we say in science today. And so that's your mercuries, or quicksilver. And so more clear positive thought, you get your positive waters and your positive mucuses. Meaning your positive waters, cerebrospinal fluid, this is coming from clear conscious. Semen, of course, this is more thicker, more feeling and emotion attached, and so the waters is thicker, but semen is still positive waters. Then, of course, you have your salty waters, your tears, ancient Sumerian Tiamat, fresh water, salt water. But tears is not a positive thing. And so you got your mucuses as well. So you see you have your waters going into your mucuses on a negative train of thought. Just like on a positive train of thought, you have your waters going into your mucuses as well. This would be cerebrospinal fluid to semen. On a negative tip, tears to mucus. And so it's the same with the bony spine, the lower brain. You got your stones to your metals. Positive and negatives on both ends. Meaning quartz crystal is like cerebrospinal fluid. It's just pure crystal. Clear. Then you have a diamond. Looks kind of similar. Just as beautiful. But it's coming from your carbon airs. Your quartz crystal, this is coming from more like your hydrogens. What makes water and shit. Excuse my language. And so, like I said, they're one and the same, crystal and waters. Just like diamonds and, carbon. That dirtier air condensing, or that heavier thought condensing into what we call a diamond. Now, a diamond doesn't look that different than a crystal, but so this is your negative positives and your stones. And so it's the same with your metals. You got golds, coppers, these is your positives. You got lead, silvers, these is your negatives. And so the spine is like that. The brain, more with the waters. And so when you're thinking specific thought, meaning the regular thought y'all think, so y'all are producing substance. It's either going to heal you or make you sick. Open you up to one or the other. Meaning it's happening already. Now, if you know how to control self and discipline self, you can control the thought. Meaning, tap into the feeling. Okay, how do I feel when I'm lusting over my girl? And kind of get the feeling. But this is where discipline comes in. Because most of you guys will say, all right, I gotta release. Just imagine if you was disciplined enough to watch a porno. Be around your girl while she's naked and just being freaky. But you don't release. You just kind of enjoy the energies and the feeling. It'll keep you in that state while, medicinally healing you. Now imagine if one can do that for a week, 2 weeks. And so you're producing the substance and it's flowing through the self. Now, if you're trying to avoid having sex and you're trying to avoid the thoughts, you're not producing the substance. And so you can avoid sex for years. That doesn't mean you're going to heal yourself because you're not producing the substance. The substance is coming from the thought. Meaning your body ain't just producing semen until you get those thoughts. And then so it starts to produce. And so you want to kind of tap into that. The feeling and the emotion of specific thoughts. And kind of hold it. Let the substances that it produces kind of flow through the self. Now, of course, it's a little deeper than that, but that's to give you a more vivid, clear perspective. Meaning, most people will tell you, man, your mind can heal you. You just got to think positive, but that don't do nothing. You can think positive all you want. Your mind know how you feel. You get it? And so, for some people, you may have to raise the conscious a level over the reality. Meaning, let's say your life is bad. And so it's hard to be like, man, my life is great. Be positive. So that don't work. You like, in your mind is like, in reality, man, your life is bad. And so you can sit here and pretend like it ain't all you want. And so this is what I mean. You kind of got to get the conscious a level above the reality. Meaning, if your life is bad, but you can still see something in it where you can say, you know what? My life is alright. When you can get to that state where you say, you know, my life is bad, but still in all, it is alright. Then so the mind will be on that state. My life is alright. And so the outer existence will begin to match that. And so you raise it a little more. You say, man, when your life begin to be all right, and so you say, my life ain't good, but it's all right. And so you start to think to yourself, you know what? In that it is good. My life is good. Start to believe it. And so it starts to manifest in the outer. You get it? You keep the thoughts a level ahead of the reality. And man, life begin to get good. And so he say, man, my life is great. Keeping the thoughts a step above the reality, kind of like looking at the glass half full as opposed to half empty. The glass half full, you say, man, you know what? Half full is close to full. And so, like, I got a full glass, man, I'm all right. And so, you get it? Change the outer perspective. And so, like I said, mental healing, mental manifestations, kind of like manifesting your thoughts out. Making, you know, a lot of y'all dreams kind of come. It's a matter of that. Beginning to understand the mind. You know, of course, go deep into the sciences, things I'm trying to teach y'all, but have a more clear understanding of what's being done. Like I said, most people will tell you, man, just think positive and your mind can heal you, and they don't really give you no real understanding of what you're doing, where you can say, okay, that makes sense, I get it. And so I'm trying to get you to grasp all thought produce substance. No different than when you take Robitussin, that's a substance. Well, your body got real medicinals, and so specific thoughts produce substance. And so some of these substances will fall in the negative pile, some in the positive. And so this is why it's important you control the thought. Understanding the thought is going to manifest into the feeling. Meaning your thoughts all have a feeling. This is how y'all have feelings. For memories are thoughts. Those thoughts was experience. You was thinking something at that moment, and so the emotion is attached. And so certain thoughts will manifest certain substance. And so a lot of you guys walk around in negative thoughts, producing a lot of negative substance, and keep the waters of the body very salty, mucus and thick. So you want to kind of clear the waters out by clearing the mind out. Have clear thoughts, clear waters. This is healing. Get a little better. You know, play around with the lustfully desiring, loving thoughts. You kind of let that substance flow through self, which is the semen. Not spilling it out, though, kind of having control. I'm not saying never spill it out. You want to spill it out, but you want to let it build up and flow through self, heal self. And so this is why you have to have control, kind of not be so attached to things. And so, hopefully you guys kind of grasp that. It's a little deeper, as I said, especially when you get into the manifestations. Kind of got to chant and get your mind. When I say chant, repeat. Repeating is how your mind got in its state. And so this is how the mind learns. Just repeat, repeat. And so if you repeatedly, chant certain things. So, like I said, y'all hear certain things, y'all become brainwashed by it. You can brainwash your own self. You can change your own emotional state. You just have to kind of have some sort of control and discipline over self. And so, like I said, thought produces substance. These substances, they don't heal you or not. And so, the heavier thought, more negative, dirtier thought, it's going to manifest into the bony spine, becoming the metals of the spine. Of course, the vertebrae is your bony rock spine. And of course, in all rock, you got your metals. This is where they excavate diamonds and precious metals and stones out of. And so you have to grasp, this is why when people die, they take the spine and the brain. You got to know they taking the elements out. Those golds, coppers, silvers, things like this. And so, I'll be back with more deep wisdom. It's your main man, Solace. All praises to the horizon. Peace, wealth, and wisdom.